Make it artsy as Joe Rotella, our tool expert, cuts a niche in a book to create a compartment. Create metal book hinges with designer Mary Hetmansberger. Then books get a new look as artist Mo Saha alters them into art journals. Finally, I'm going to share a tip on how to make a book necklace. It's all today on Make It Artsy. Julie Faithan Balzer, your host for Make It Artsy. Now, as you can see, I'm the only thing that has stayed the same from our earlier series, Scrapbook Soup. This brand new show is dedicated to the artist in you, that maker spirit that extends to every part of your life. Join us this season as we move beyond paper and unleash a new look for crafting with a touch of industrial style. It's all about techniques you can apply to many different projects. Our topic today is books, and we're starting with Joe Rotella, who's going to be here all season with amazing tools. And the first thing he's brought is, well, I hope it's a gift for me, because I want to take it home. It's like a terrarium or a garden inside a book.
So what we did is take a book and carve a niche in it, and we use that niche as a planter, but you could use it to make a little shrine, you could use it as a book safe. So once you get that hole in the book, it's totally up to you.
Cool, so we have a lot of tools and I want to get started. How do we start?
So first, I want you to choose a book, even if it has a paper cover, just make sure that you like the hardback cover that's on that outside, that looks good. Make sure that the spine is nice and stable and it stays together. The first thing we want to do is take the first couple sheets and just rubber band those out of the way. The reason that we're doing this is later on we're going to use those sheets to fold back over the niche to cover up some of our work. Then we need to take this whole stack of book pages and bind them, secure them together. So it helps if you use a little bit of a spacer. And we want to put nails around a ½ an inch all the way around. Now you could use a ruler, but I make so many of these that I just cut a template out of a piece of chipboard. And no one's going to see the lines, they don't have to be perfect. These are just guidelines for you, all the way around, ½ an inch. Now you want to select a brad that is not going to go all the way through the pages into the back of the book.
Now, I know when I think of a brad, I think of the office supply brad that splits open, but you're talking about a nail brad.
Tiny, and this is a ½ inch brad. Now, if I try to hammer this, I'm going to clobber my fingers. So the little trick here is that we're going to grab it with a pair of needle nose pliers, hold it right on our ½ inch line, get it started, and pound it all the way through. And you want to go all the way around.
So how many do you think you would put in on each side? Are you doing like every few inches?
Well, that's a really good question. I tend to do 4 on either side here, and 3 here and here, because we're going to do the exact same thing on the back. And if I do 3, I know I'm between my 4. I'm not nailing into the same place. So when you're done, you're going to actually have this whole thing bound as one solid block with the nails around both sides.
Cool.
Good? Now, we're going to scroll saw this out. So in order to get the scroll saw into the center portion of the book, we're going to have to drill pilot holes, but you can't cut right through your pages. It'll tear. We need to put wood on top. So we can take one of our books, and I've got one right here, already nailed, and we're going to cut a piece of wood that exactly fits on the front and the back, and that's called a backing board. I've got one here all measured, ready to go.
Okay, so I'm going to put on my safety glasses, of course, because whenever you're working with tools, you want to do that. And we're going to go ahead and turn on the table saw. I think you showed this to me earlier. Is it this button here?
That's it.
There you go. And I'm just going to know that my thing is all lined up here. I'm going to push it against it, being sure to keep my hands out of the way. The safety is going to lift, and I'm going to very carefully, keeping my hands to the side, push it all the way through. And in no time at all, boom, there you go. I'm going to have it split, and I'm going to go ahead and turn that off, because I know that you have one, right, that's already cut.
I have these already done, but this little 1/8 inch plywood is perfect task for this. So I've got one cut here. Remember, we're going to have one on the front and the back. Here, what we want to do is mark 1 inch all the way around. So again, I've used a template.
I love the idea of templates because I do think that especially for different things that you do all the time, and certainly regular measurements like 1 inch and 1/2 inch, you might as well just have those templates around because I use them all the time for paper crafting, for book binding, for all sorts of stuff. There's no reason to measure that over and over. Why reinvent the wheel, right?
So this is the niche we're going to cut out. Cutting out square corners is a little bit tricky. So we want a rounded corner. So the tip, use anything round, a pill bottle,
I was going to say, I
a
like
pink
your
bottle.
tool. I think I might have one of those.
Look at that. I think I took this from you. You weren't
Well, then
watching.
I want it back.
So there's how we have our 4 corners. And you're going to mark both front and back boards like that. And then we're going to nail this here. Now the key is to only nail in the center part that we're going to cut away.
Why?
Well, because when we cut away, the nails and everything will go with it. If you nail in the outside edge, it's going to stay attached to your book.
Because I don't actually want to attach the board into the book. I only am using it as a tool.
You're using it to hold these pages together so that when the saw goes up and down, it doesn't tear the pages.
Which makes
it
so
goes
much
through the
sense because
board.
I can see the one that you have that's already nailed together,
Got
and
it.
that one just has the nails in the center.